few episodes ago, Rob hit me with some questions. Now it's my turn to return the favor. Rob, what are your collecting highlights from the past year?
My mind immediately goes to the first one we bought with you when I met you, and it was a pretty quick decision. We took a couple of days, but I hadn't really bought a mechanical watch in years and years and years, and decided I really wanted one, and was leaning heavily towards a Breitling, and ended up purchasing one. And that was a highlight because Jennifer was part of it with me in the past. Years ago, she would go shopping with me as well. That was definitely a highlight because it was, I kind of felt myself, going back into the, man, I really miss this. And so, needless to say, I had no idea it would lead to where we are today, 13 months later. But that was definitely a highlight. And then I would say the other two that are definite standouts, the other three, I guess, that are definite standouts were when I got the Tudor Blue Flamingo. Mm-hmm. And I would say my first purchase from Teddy's and getting to meet him with my youngest son was definitely a highlight.
And that was a Tissot and a Bon Mercier,
yep,
right?
Bought Will a Tissot. They were having a Tissot event that night. Got him a Tissot, which he wears all the time. And I got the Bon Mercier, which I love. It's a great watch. And then I would say the other highlight that really stands out is when Jennifer got her Tudor and I got my Rolex for our 30-year anniversary.
Nice. So, I'm going to hit you with a hard one here. You sure you're ready for this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
When do you decide to buy new versus used?
Oh, that's actually pretty easy for me. A couple of things go into factor. One, what percentage off is it on a secondary market? If it's a watch that just takes a nosedive on a secondary market, and that can be for many, many reasons. There's not just one reason why that happens. It's a lot of reasons. That plays a factor. Another factor is it a watch I know when I buy it, I'm definitely going to pass on? An example, the Rolex for my 30-year anniversary. There's no chance that ever gets sold. It will get passed on. Mm-hmm. I wanted that to be new. It didn't matter. Well, I mean, Rolex, obviously, you're not going to get a discount secondary market, but, it wouldn't have mattered. Say Rolex sell for half price on the secondary market. I still wanted it new. So that's part two. Three, and I found this probably the most. If it is a watch or maybe it's a brand that I'm just not 100% sold on if I'm going to love this watch. So I'm kind of testing the water, say, of a brand. And there's one that sticks out in my mind. I don't want to mention because by definition, it's going to look like I'm throwing shade on them, and I'm not. Wasn't real sure about them. I bought a couple of them used because the price was just different. One, I believe, was new in box, never been worn, and you could tell the watch had never been worn. And the other one was in really, really good shape. And so I purchased them for that reason. They were not crazy high dollar watches, but that's the factors I think that I run through really quick in my mind. I do like to buy new from authorized dealers way more than not. And the longer I'm in it, the more that is definitely the case.
Sure.
The other thing, I guess, is if it's still being made. If there's a watch I want that isn't made anymore, you don't have a choice.
Fair enough.
So that's my factors.
Sure. So, what are your collecting missteps over the past year?
Meeting you. Let's see.
Getting sucked into
That's right. The vortex. No, honestly, man, I don't really live life that way. If I focus, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's parenting, whether it's being a husband, being a child, whatever it is, I don't really focus on the missteps. I make a little tiny mark in my head, hey, don't let that happen again. But really, I don't have any. And the thing about watches, and I mentioned this until y'all are probably tired of hearing it, look, if I buy a watch I just don't like, somebody out there is going to love that watch. I'll find them. I'll give it to them. I'll give it as a gift, a reward, hey, man, I think it's going to look good on you, whatever, and do that with it. I may keep it for shots for here so we can use it in B-roll at times. But I really don't have many missteps. If I had to come up with one, because I think you have to be critical, to a certain extent on yourself, possibly maybe buy a couple more higher end watches and a couple less very good quality, but more the medium of the road watches. And that's if I'm just really digging deep trying to find something to dig, but I don't focus on that.
I'll throw you under the bus. Buying a watch on a strap, that there was a possibility you wanted on a bracelet.
You just had to mention what's
Yes.
on my wrist.
Uh-huh.
You're right. That
So, yeah.
would be my number one. Hands down, there you go. He only knows that because I just mentioned to him right before we went live, hey, Zach, by the way, I need to order this. And, tell the story of why.
So the price delta between getting it on a strap and a bracelet, I believe, was $900-ish. And the cost of that bracelet's going to be almost 3 times that delta. So,
and my reason was I really did not want it on a bracelet. And there's a lot of the watches I own, I don't want them on bracelet. And I had convinced myself this was one of them. And I was wrong. As soon as I got it, maybe the first day or two, I realized, okay, you know not to do this, and you did it anyway. Yeah. And so now you're going to have to pay the piper. But then again, like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Yes, sure. I could hyper focus on it. Go, oh, that's money I could have. But it is what it is. I am where I am, and yesterday's been played. So, sure. But yeah, that would probably be the one that I would say if I could go back in time, I would have done different. Yeah.
Okay. So what avenues do you use to gain your watch knowledge?
Hands down, YouTube. That is 90% of it, I would say. I would maybe not 90%. I would say a good probably 75% is YouTube. The other thing is I pick your brain a lot. I'm very fortunate that my partner in crime here has a vast knowledge of watches. He's done this for a lot of years, and it's something he's passionate about. He's something he's going to be passionate about 100 years from now. And so I pick your brain a lot. You get a lot of texts from me, just random. I often think, what is going to go through his mind when he sees that I send him a text at 2 o'clock in the morning asking if, that company makes that watch strap in brown or whatever, So I do tap into that, and I tap into other watch dealers as well. There's some that I have reached out to, whether it be Teddy, whether it be guys that work for Teddy, whether it be Roman, whether it be, there's a lot of guys that I've reached out to because the easiest way to learn something is to ask somebody that's way more knowledgeable than you, and don't be so, well, I'm not going to lower myself to ask. Man, ask the questions. And a lot of time I pose it in what's your opinion, because you can't, what's a good watch? Well, that's a million different ways you can answer that. But I would say just putting in the time of watching videos online and comparing. So if you watch 10 videos and 9 of them say one thing about it, chances are it's probably pretty accurate. But I also will make notes in my phone. I will take a screenshot of the video and to go back and research something a little bit different about it. But I would say that's the gist of it.
Okay. I think Hodinkee is worth a mention too, because every once in a while we'll talk. Something will post there, and
So probably Hodinkee and even Teddy Baldazar's website. That's probably 5%. And my biggest reason for the YouTube versus the reading is, one, I am dyslexic, so I have to read stuff 5 times before I really, really comprehend it. But now there are some that you just have to read. Like you just have to sit down and stare at the diagram or the blueprint or read it. But yeah, those two are great sources for it, for sure.
So you've alluded to it a few times in our previous videos, but just to kind of get it out there so that there's not questions, what do you do for a living?
Several things, actually. I am currently in my 23 years with a national labor company. So think staffing, think H-2A work visas, think helping people structure their payroll, their workman's comp. I do that on a national level. We have thousands and thousands of employees all over the country. We do hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue, and I work directly under the CEO. So I'm the vice president of the company, and it is definitely a fun thing to do. It's something I've been doing, like I say, for a huge part of my adult life. So that is the majority of what I do. That's what I travel a lot for, along with some other things. Then I own a couple of other businesses on the side. I own an art business. I also own Morrow Sales, which is a company that does antiques and think vintage signs and vintage oil cans and gas pumps and soda signs and crates and any type of antique like that, an advertisement. I sell that all over the country and sometimes out of the country. We travel some with that as well. So then on top of that, this isn't a paid thing, but I am a youth minister at my church, and I've done that for a lot of years. And so between that and being a dad and a husband and running a YouTube channel, it keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, let me rephrase that. I know. I'll put it that way. I gotcha. So where do you see your collection 5 years from now?
Not picking up as many pieces in a 12-month cycle, but probably picking up either some that are more rare / vintage, ever how you want to word that. And then I do want to pick up a couple higher horology pieces. Not going to be daily wearers, but I do want to do that. And then, I would say your line of thinking has rubbed off on me a little bit with it is kind of cool to have one of certain brands. You may not be the biggest fan of them. You may not need 5 of them. But there is something to say about having one of these and one of these and one of these. For nothing else, it's cool to me if I wear one day and I wear a different one the next day. Which should I like better? Which should I find myself actually kind of smiling inside as I look down? Or which were more legible? Which one were more usable as an actual tool? So I would say less pieces per year, but being a lot more critical about cherry picking which ones.
Okay. So, and we had a lot of fun with this next question when we interviewed Sam. So it's going to make a return appearance. But if you were the CEO of a watch company, you pick whichever one you want, and you had 1 year as the CEO, which company would it be, and what would you do in your year?
So I think that I have to say I agree with Sam, and I think I'm on the record that night saying that I would probably I think history. I think which ones are not okay. So, an example: if I took over Tudor today, do I think I could make it a much better company in 12 months? I really don't. I mean, I've got a tweak here and there. I can do that with any business. I didn't mention a while ago, I also consult with businesses just because I try to look at it from 10,000 feet. I don't get in the weeds. I just look at some stuff that's just painfully obvious to people that are not doing it every day. So I don't think I could do much for Tudor. I think they're doing great. I love their watches. I mean, I'm wearing one right now. So I look at what company do I think I can make the biggest impact? Now, this is from outside looking in. I don't know the weeds of it, but I think Breguet would have to be where I would land, and I do think I would take it in a different strategy. Now, this is if they were their own company. They were not tied to any other organization. I think I would play the role that Rolex did in 1926, and I would start a sub-brand. And that sub-brand, in today's money, 2025 money, I think I would try to offer between $7,500 and maybe $15,000. Okay, and it could have some DNA of that. But then the watches that I would really try for is I would pay for I would try to find the top 3 or 4 best watchmakers in the world, and I would throw money at them. That's what I would do. And I would get them to come in, and I would say, we're going to carry this torch that has been carried for hundreds of years at this point, but this light is going to shine bright, and there is going to be a long line of people that want the best of the best of the best. I would not allow us, if there's option A and option B, we're always going to go option A. Option B would not be on the table. Take it off the table. You only have one path here. I don't want to hear anything else. We're going to get the best of the best materials, processes, absolutely design. I mean, I would just go all in with producing that $90,000 to $250,000 timepiece. I really would. A lot of people may disagree, but that's really what I would do. I think I would have that secondary company that could sell to the masses, so you could say, yeah, I do have those hands, right? That doesn't cost a lot of money. You're not going to get the same maybe Escape, or you're not going to get, but you can tell it's of the same family. But I would go in that, absolutely go after that market to where people are planning on buying these and they know their great grandkid is going to enjoy this timepiece. That's what I would do.
So before we go on to the next question, we just want to ask that, if you can take a moment to like, comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear what brand you would be the CEO of. What would you do? Or what were your collecting missteps, or any of the other questions that I've asked Rob. We'd love to hear answers to. So please, if you will, share. And I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. So Rob's wife Jen is sitting in on this this video, and so Jen, we're going to need you to put the earplugs in for this next one. But Rob, in the next 12 months, what watches are you adding to your collection?
Only G-Shocks. Are earplugs in yet? Can I answer now? Okay, cool. Well, let's see. I do have an iPad here, and like any good watch collector, you always have a list, right? Some of us just keep it in our head, but of course, I've got mine right here. So which watches... Okay, repeat the question again.
So in the next 12 months...
Okay.
What, and I'm sorry, what 5 watches, I should have said 5 earlier,
okay.
What 5 watches do you want to add to your collection?
Well, I've got a list here of some watches, so let me try to keep it to 5. How about that?
We can go above 5. I'm happy
okay.
to talk watches.
The one that I know, unless something crazy happens, we're already scheduled to be in Manhattan in December with the family, and we're meeting some other family from out of town. And for some reason, I just decided, I think you and I were having a conversation, and the Cartier Santos is definitely a watch I want to pick up this year. And it's one I definitely want to buy new. I don't really care about the secondary market. I want to buy it new. I know they're scratch magnets, but they're going to be my scratches, and I'm going to pass this on to one of my kids, right? And so I want to pick it up. I want the white dial. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure of, because I've just not put it on my wrist, is I don't know if I want the medium or the large. My brain says I want the large because I like larger watches, but I do want to give the medium a chance. So it's going to be one of those two. I also, right now, without having made that decision, I'm leaning a little bit more to the medium because that would be a cool watch to pass on to my daughter. And I don't know that she would want the large one day. So
sure.
So that one stays at the top of my list. So that's definitely one. If I don't buy any other watches this year, I want to buy that one. You said the next 12 months. Okay, so next year, I think it's in June. It could be July. I think it's in June. Teddy has his Grand Seiko event. And I have already picked out the watch I want. Let me get the right number here. It is part of the Grand Seiko collection. It's the Spring Drive manual. It is the SPG Y007, and I'm sure we'll show it on B-Reel. It's like a baby blue, ice blue dial. It's a blue leather strap. It's super thin. It's just really, really beautiful dress watch. I have went back and forth on about 4 different Grand Seikos that I keep looking at, but I think that is the one that I want to walk away with. I think I will wear it with a lot of my sports coats that are blue or have blue in them, or suits or whatever. Most of my dressier outfits like that have blue in them, or gray. So I think that's the 2 that are pretty much in the book that I want to buy. And I want to buy it at that event. We were trying to go this year to that event, which I probably would have picked a different Grand Seiko this year, but my dad wasn't doing so well. We just did not feel comfortable leaving North Carolina at that moment, so we weren't able to go. That's 2, right? Yep. Number 3, I'm going to put on there a couple of watches out of my list here. And I'm hoping I get a call this year. It may or may not happen, have no idea. But let's just say that I get a call on one of these 3 new from you, Mr. Zach. One is, and everybody's going to roll their eyes with this because every sales manager has one. That's great, no problem. Is a Datejust 41 blue fluted Rolex, of course. That's with the stainless steel with the Jubilee.
And the Roman numerals.
And the Roman numerals, yeah. And I just love that watch. I don't care if no one has it, and I don't care if everyone has it. It doesn't take or add away anything to me over that watch. I like that watch. I would wear that watch a lot. I like the size. I like the look. I just like the watch.
Yeah.
You know. So that's one. I am hoping to pick up a Land Dweller at some point, and that's going to be, the stainless steel with the white dial. I think that's reference number 127334-0001. I really like that watch. Now, I will say, I think those 2 watches I just mentioned are going to scratch the same itch. So, will I end up with both of them? I'm just not sure. I can't honestly say right now. And then the other one, which is my Grail watch, they just don't come around that often, is a GMT Master 2 in white gold with the meteorite dial. I've mentioned that quite a bit. And that's reference number 126719BLRO-0002. So I'm going to consider the Rolexes as one, okay, because it just depends on what would come out.
Well, with your luck, we call, and all 3 of them came in, buddy.
That's right. If I got a credit card I can borrow real quick, asking for a friend. The next 2, and you haven't seen this list, so it's just kind of funny because you normally know what I'm thinking. But and I'm gonna say this is between 2 of them. This is the part I'm hoping my wife's earplugs are working very, very well. I really would like, and this is one you asked me. This is one I would pick up secondhand. I think for sure, for obvious reasons. But I think I would like to get a Royal Oak offshore blue dial, and we'll put that on the screen. I'm not going to read out the reference numbers because AP's reference numbers are
Jen, they're only like $500. Not going to be a problem.
Really cheap. Yeah, I think they make them in China. I think something. Who knows, right? Or a Royal Oak, a regular Royal Oak with the gray dial. So I go back and forth over which of those 2 styles I like more. Obviously, one is way more valuable and all of it, but like I said, that doesn't really play the factor to me. It's something that's going to be on my wrist every day. So I really can't decide. I think it's just going to be the right watch at the right moment, the right time that I buy. But I think one of those 2. And I'm fine with the blue, the gray, or the black. Really, in all of them, I do kind of like the offshore in blue, and the regular Royal Oak in gray or black. But I would be fine either way.
Sure.
The next one is definitely not necessarily a fan favorite today, but it is a watch that I really like, and if you're of my age, it makes a lot of sense, I think. And that is the Luminor.
Okay.
And I like the PAM 03312. Very basic, black dial with the black strap. I really like that watch. Would I wear it every day? No, but there's definitely times I would wear that watch. I like. I'm not a fan of the chronos in that. I just like. I like the more basics of that watch. The plainer the better, I think, with that watch. And then so that's the top. I would say the other things that come to mind are there's probably 3 Tudors. Tudors that I would really like to have, and I keep going back and forth in my head over that. And there's 2 Omegas that I really like the Snoopy, and I really want to get a white dialed 300 diver and wear on the rubber strap that it is an option for.
Yeah.
So those are some that are. I mean, there's many more. I'm saying that's probably the top of my list.
Yeah. Well, that's other than the 40 affordable ones that you're gonna find.
100%. Yes. Hey, there's a Oris in the Jazz collection. There's 2 of those I'm wanting really, really bad right now. So you just, once again, will I get all of those? No. The Santos is a definite. The Grand Seiko is a definite. I really feel like I will pick up, if I don't do a Royal Oak of some sort in 2026, I think 2027 I definitely will. And you know what? I may wait to 2027 and do it for my 50th birthday. I'm not sure. That'd be a great time to do that. But, you know, like I said, those I'm buying used, so a lot's going to pivot on when and where and which one.
All right. Well, Rob, thank you for your time and letting me hit you with a few questions.
Yes, sir.
And thank you all for watching. We greatly appreciate your time and for your support of Rob and Zach.
Thank you.